Québécois metal noir, that is black metal from Quebec, Canada. Well, those of you who know the scene and know the style pretty much can figure out. It's mostly melodic, so-called French melodic black metal. Very distinctive in style, very signature style, and good. Most bands anyway. Now, curiously enough, one of my favorite Quebec or Québécois band isn't exactly the same style and is actually a little bit older than most of the so-called modern day Québécois bands. This one is Thesyre, and it's the classic of the month. Now, the reason why I chose to go with Thesyre debut album, self-titled one, from 2002 is that, well, there's a new album out. You probably missed a review. Anyway, take a look after this one. That is, if you're interested in this kind of black metal. And you should be, in my opinion, because this is not one of those trendy bands. This is actually quite anti-trendy, and I don't know if it's good for the bad. In my opinion, obviously good, but it's something different. Both visually, both musically, both. Well, really, let's get into it and stop the nonsense right here. Now, I don't recall the exact year when I got to know the band called Thesyre, named by the original member Eric Syre, who has since then been a member in many different bands. This is, as you can see, Ascent Records release from 2002. Some say 2003. I'm not sure exactly what is true. It doesn't really say all that information here. I'll show you a little bit what I mean. Now, what is curious enough that Eric, being kind of a graphic design guy, has very much kept going on with this so-called Thesyre symbol. You will see it always in when the band is mentioned or shown anywhere. Different versions of the same image is always printed on the Thesyre cover, which in my opinion is a very cool way to brand a band without looking like some kind of a copycat band. You know, you have these certain typical symbols in black metal, you know, inverted crosses, pentagrams, sometimes some more political symbols, but nevertheless, this is something that kind of labels Thesyre in an interesting way. A kind of a gear with sort of a, I don't know, looks like some kind of an eagle or some beast in the sky to me, and I think it's wonderful graphics. Very simple in design, could be a logo for, I don't know, a brand. On the back side of this inlay, you barely can see this URL to the band site. Obviously, things get very obsolete these days, so some label guys say don't even print your URL, that internet address there. And because the sun is shining so brightly, even though it's already almost mid-September, you can barely see this text over here. I'll read it for you. No lyrics, no pictures, no credits, no thanks, piss off. If this isn't nihilistic enough, I'll continue with the next page, which says FOAD. Those of you who don't know what it means fuck off and die. Very much coined by Darkthrone with their release roughly around the same year as this. Not exactly, but anyway. I don't mean by coined that they actually invented the sentence, but they made it rather famous in the black metal scene. Now, because there are no lyrics, no photos, no credits, no recording information, why could we talk the music? Now, the music of Thesyre is something that really pushes all the right buttons when it comes to me. That is kind of a mid-tempo black metal with sort of a punkish riffs, certain kind of a hardcore-ish appearance in a way. Well, when I say hardcore-ish, I don't mean it sounds like hardcore rock or metal or whatever. And when I say punkish, I don't mean it's actually punk. But kind of similar to what Darkthrone was, you know, going on in the early 2000s with some of the albums. And that where it just gets me. I mean, the riffs are, first of all, really cool. They're powerful, they're aggressive, they're kind of a violent, but the band doesn't really push it all forward like fast tempo. I mean, that would be kind of an easy trick to do. Just go with Marduk's Panzer Division Marduk and you get all that violence, you know, blast beats. Yes, it's aggressive, it's violence, we get it. But what I like what Thesyre is doing, it's kind of like beating somebody's face into a pulp in a rather nice tempo. It kind of emphasizes the violence within. It's like, I'm way more scared that guy with the scary look, even though he's not the biggest guy in the block, rather than this, I don't know, this obvious kind of a type who just looks kind of relaxed and all that stuff. This mental look in his face, in his eyes and all that stuff, that's scary as hell. And that is the vibe what I get out of the album called Thesyre. Now we take this look in the Metal Archive site, you can pretty much see it's the first album. I don't know why it is mentioned here 2003, because on the Thesyre Bandcamp page it's mentioned it's 2002. Well, nevertheless, that doesn't really mean a thing. Curious enough, there is my modification on the page, because I actually had to fix the link problem with the Bandcamp link. You see, it was previously linked here as, you know, the one of the albums directly when I figured out maybe it should be the basic Bandcamp site. Anyway, here you can see pretty much the branding theme which I was talking about earlier. You know, this eagle with this kind of a gear. So different colors, different versions in different albums. And obviously, you know, some of these other releases will be or have been already reviewed on the channel. So in case you just get interested in the band, you can pretty much go check out the other one. Anyway, back to the Metal Archive site. Here you can see the discography, what was going on. And now that the band is out with a new release, or actually two, in 2020, with after 10 years of break, I decided this band kind of needs a classic review, because I cannot be the only fan of the band in the world. And I think, hey, maybe this band needs to be talked about, because I remember getting into this band early 2000s, I would say 2005, 2004 maybe. And maybe it could have been around Duality, I'm not sure, because I don't really remember when I got this debut album, but it must have been around or before the second album. Anyway, I remember how it created a strong impact for me, because there were not too many bands doing the same style, and still isn't. And that kind of bugs me off, because I really like this kind of style. I mean, no melodies, no bullshit, no female singing, no keyboards, kind of a basic things. You know, strong riffing, and still you don't have to have that kind of a mindless blasting. I do like mindless blasting every now and then, but what matters to me more is that, are your riffs good? And Thesyre proves that, yeah, without speed you can just focus on those good riffs. That layered with some good production. And what I really like also in the detailed level is the bass guitar, because it's actually very audible there. It's not like dominating the album, it's actually more than just backing up the drumming and all that stuff. So for me, Thesyre, it's not like a world-breaking record of the millennium, but it's a strong release that still deserves more attention in my opinion. Much like the stuff that I've heard ever since. So, with this classic review, I hope you click to the band's Bandcamp site and give a listen to these beautiful albums. And who knows, if you get interested, maybe you click and get one of those CDs in your collection. Maybe other formats, maybe even digital if you are not shabby about owning too many pieces of plastic in your collection. Nevertheless, give this band a chance, it totally deserves it. It's a good band. Only thing which really bugs me is this image here. It's horrible. Horrible. But that doesn't ruin a band. Go check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care, my friends, and see you soon with more reviews coming your way.